Hey guys, tonight we travel back in time, not with a roar, but with a gentle whisper. We're drifting back to the 17th century, to a small, impossibly neat village in the Netherlands, a place where water and land live in a quiet, green harmony. You can almost smell the damp earth, the sweet grass, and something else, something rich and milky. It's the smell of a family's livelihood, of tradition, of a craft passed down through generations. It's the smell of cheese. We are going to settle into the story of a young boy, a daydreamer, whose small mistake would ripple through time in the most delicious way. Are you ready in your warm bed? I hope you are. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe. But only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. It's always so lovely to see where everyone is tuning in from, so feel free to leave your city or country and the local time in the comments below. It creates a wonderful sense of shared quiet all around the world. Now dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. The first thing you are aware of is the light, not a harsh, sudden light, but a soft, pearly gray glow that filters through the small, leaded glass window of your attic room. It's the light of a Dutch dawn, promising a day that might be sunny or might be overcast or most likely a little bit of both. You are Lars and you are 12 years old. Below you, in the heart of the house, you can hear the familiar rhythmic clatter of your mother, Anneliese, stoking the hearth fire. It's a sound as reliable as the sunrise. You stretch under the heavy linen sheets, your toes searching for a warm spot, and you can smell the faint, comforting scent of wood smoke beginning to curl its way up through the floorboards. Your house, like all the others in this village of Brook and Waterland, is made of wood, painted in a specific, soft shade of gray-blue that seems to absorb the morning mist. It sits beside a narrow canal, a ribbon of dark, still water that reflects the sky like a polished mirror. You swing your legs out of bed, your bare feet meeting the cool, wide planks of the floor. You pull on your simple woolen trousers and a linen shirt, the fabric still holding a trace of last night's warmth. Down the steep, ladder-like stairs you go, your hand sliding along the smooth, worn wood of the banister. The main room is the heart of your home. It is a kitchen, a living space, and a testament to your mother's love of order. Copper pots hang from hooks on the ceiling, gleaming like miniature suns in the growing light. A large wooden table, scrubbed to a pale blonde, stands in the center of the room. Your mother is there, her back to you, her blonde hair neatly tucked under a crisp white cap. She is humming a soft tune as she slices a dense, dark rye bread. On the table is a bowl of porridge, steaming gently. Historians still argue whether the average Dutch farmer's breakfast in this era was more bread or more porridge, but in this house, on most mornings, it is both. A little bit of comforting warmth from the oats, and a sturdy slice of bread with a sliver of yesterday's cheese to prepare you for the day. "Good morning, my little dreamer," Annalise says without turning around. She always seems to know when you've entered a room, as if she has a special sense just for you. You murmur a good morning back and slide onto the bench at the table. She places the bowl in front of you, a small pat of butter melting into a golden pool in the center. "Your father is already in the milking shed," she says. "The cows were restless this morning." You nod, stirring the butter into your porridge, watching the swirls of gold disappear into the gray. Your father, Dirk, is a man made of routine and quiet pride. He is a cheesemaker, just as his father was before him. His hands, though gentle with the cows, are calloused and strong from years of lifting heavy wheels of cheese, of working the curds, of scrubbing the great copper vats until they shine. He loves the clean, predictable science of his work, the precise temperature of the milk, the exact amount of rennet, the careful timing of each step. It is an alchemy he has mastered, turning the simple, fresh milk from your family's small herd into golden wheels of Gouda, prized at the market in Amsterdam. You, on the other hand, are drawn to a different kind of alchemy, the kind that turns clouds into sailing ships in the sky, the kind that transforms the ink in your precious book, a gift from your uncle who is a merchant, into epic tales of sea monsters and distant lands. Your father sometimes looks at you with a furrowed brow, a gentle confusion in his eyes. He doesn't understand why you would rather be sketching the pattern of frost on the window pane than learning how to test the firmness of the curd. He sees it as a distraction, a sign that your head is not where it should be in the family business. After your simple breakfast, you pull on your wooden clogs, the klompen, and step outside. The air is cool and damp, carrying the scent of wet earth and the sweet grassy smell of the cows. The village is already awake. You hear the distant clang of a blacksmith's hammer, the laughter of children playing near the canal bridge, and the gentle lapping of water against the sides of a passing barge. During this time, the Dutch Golden Age, the Netherlands is one of the wealthiest places on earth. Goods from all over the world flow through the ports of Amsterdam, and even in your small, quiet village, you can feel the echoes of that prosperity. Your family lives comfortably, not with riches, but with a sturdy, well-fed security that comes from hard work and high-quality cheese. You make your way to the milking shed, your clogs making a hollow clack, clack, clack on the meticulously swept cobblestone. Your mother is famous, even in the next village, for how clean she keeps the path to the house. Some neighbors whisper that she scrubs it with buttermilk to keep it pale, a testament to the Dutch obsession with cleanliness that so fascinated foreign visitors. Inside the shed, the air is warm and alive with the soft sounds of the cows chewing their cud. The scent of hay and warm milk is thick, almost tangible. Your father is finishing with the last cow, his forehead pressed gently against her flank as he coaxes the last streams of milk into the wooden pail. He looks up as you enter, and a small smile touches his lips. Ah, Lars, you are here. Good. He straightens up, wiping his hands on a cloth tucked into his belt. The milk is good today, Rich. Your job this morning is simple. You are to help your father carry the pails of fresh, still warm milk from the shed to the making room, a small, tiled building attached to the back of the house. It is a job you have done hundreds of times. You take one pail. Your father takes the other. The milk sloshes gently. A white, rhythmic wave against the sides of the wood. You have to walk carefully, your eyes on your feet, to avoid spilling even a single drop. Spilled milk is not just a mess. It is spilled profit, spilled time. In the making room, the great copper cauldron is already waiting, cleaned and ready. You and your father pour the milk in, the two streams merging into a creamy sea. A fire is lit beneath it, and now the waiting begins. The milk must be heated slowly to just the right temperature. This is Dirk's domain. He hovers over the vat, a long wooden thermometer in hand. His focus absolute. You are supposed to be watching, learning. You are supposed to be absorbing the subtle signs, the way the steam begins to rise, the feel of the heat on your face, the change in the milk's aroma. But your gaze drifts. It drifts to a spider patiently weaving a web in the corner of a window. The web is a masterpiece of engineering, delicate and strong, catching the morning light in a net of dew-strung diamonds. You marvel at how the spider knows without being taught how to create such perfection. Lars, your father's voice cuts through your thoughts, sharp but not unkind. Pay attention, this is important. Yes, Father, you say, pulling your gaze away from the web and back to the vat of warming milk. He adds the rennet, an enzyme traditionally taken from the stomach of a calf, which will cause the milk to separate into solid curds and liquid whey. This is the moment of magic. The transformation begins. You watch as the liquid milk, slowly, almost imperceptibly, begins to thicken, to coagulate, to become something new. While you wait for the curds to form, your father gives you another task. He hands you a small, worn book with a leather cover. But it's not a storybook. It's his ledger. Go to the cave, he instructs. Count the wheels from the spring batch. Make sure the number matches what is written here and check them for any unwanted mold. The cave. Your heart gives a little leap. The cave is not a true cave, but a cellar dug deep into the cool, damp earth behind your house. It's where the cheeses are aged. It is always dark and cool inside, with a smell that is uniquely its own. A mixture of damp, stone, earth, and the sharp, pungent aroma of aging cheese. It is your favorite place on the farm. It feels separate from the world, a quiet, secret place. But there's a flicker of something else, too, a little thrill of unease. The old women in the village, when they think the children aren't listening, sometimes speak of the kabouters, the little gnome-like folk who are said to live underground, in cellars and forgotten corners. They say a kabouter can be a friend to a household, helping with chores in the night. But if you offend them, they can be mischievous, souring the milk or hiding tools. Your mother dismisses it as foolish old talk, but when you are alone on the steps leading down into the cool darkness of the cheese cave, it's easy to believe that something ancient and watchful lays in the deep shadows. You take the ledger and a small lantern and head out the back door. The entrance to the cave is a low wooden door set into a grassy mound. You pull the heavy door open, and a wave of cool, damp air washes over you. A stark contrast to the growing warmth of the day. You light your lantern, its small, flickering flame, pushing back the thick darkness, and you begin your descent down the stone steps, your imagination already beginning to spin tales of what secrets the shadows might hold. The task is simple. Count the cheeses. But for a boy like you, a simple task is always an invitation for your mind to wander. And today, it is about to wander further than ever before. The stone steps are cool and slightly slick beneath your wooden clogs. You hold the lantern high, its warm, golden light chasing away the deepest shadows, but creating new ones that dance and sway with the movement of the flame. The air grows colder with each step down and the smell changes. Up above it was all grass and sun and warm milk. Down here it is the scent of the earth itself, a deep, clean smell of damp soil, of stone, and the sharp, tangy perfume of dozens of aging cheese wheels. It's a smell of patience. The cave is not large, but it is perfectly organized. Long wooden shelves line the curved stone walls, and on them, like sleeping golden giants, rest the wheels of your father's famous Gouda. Each wheel is a testament to his skill, perfectly round, with a smooth, waxy rind that you know he has carefully washed and turned every few days. You run a finger over one. It's cool and slightly yielding, a living thing in its own slow, quiet way. Your lantern light glides over the rows, each one a promise of income, of food for the winter, of the family's good name at the market. Hanging from a wooden beam near the entrance is a small, peculiar-looking stone with a naturally formed hole in it. Your grandmother hung it there years ago. She called it a hexenstein, a witch stone, meant to protect the cheese in the cellar from any mischievous spirits or souring hexes. Your father scoffs at such things, championing science and hygiene over superstition, but he has never taken it down. It's part of the cave's fabric now. A stony guardian. You place the lantern on a small, sturdy stool and open your father's ledger. The book is filled with his neat, precise handwriting, dates, quantities, notes on texture and taste. You begin your task, moving along the first shelf, tapping each wheel gently with your knuckle, and counting aloud in a soft whisper. 1, 2, 3. The sound is small and muffled in the dense quiet of the cellar. This is the spring batch. Cheese is made when the grass was at its most lush and the milk at its sweetest. They have been aging for several months now, developing their character. You're halfway through counting the second shelf when you hear the scrape of the heavy door opening above light spills down the stairwell, and your father's silhouette appears, blocking the daylight. He is carrying something carefully in both hands. A small, round wooden tub, not much bigger than a dinner plate. Lars, he says, his voice echoing slightly in the enclosed space. He navigates the steps with practiced ease. I have something new. He sets the tub down on the stool next to your lantern. You peer inside. It's filled with a mass of pale, lumpy curds, drained of their whey, but still soft and wet. They look like a cloud, fragile and crumbly. This is from the morning's milk, he explains, his voice filled with a quiet excitement that you know is reserved only for cheese. I used a little less rennet and cut the curd much finer. I want to see if the cool air down here helps it settle before the first pressing. He gestures to the tub. It's an experiment. The whey has been drained, but the curd is still very young. He places a clean, damp cloth over the top of the tub. I want you to leave it here just for an hour, no more. The coolness should firm it up. Just so, then bring it up to the making room. I'll be ready for the first pressing then. Can you do that for me? Yes, Father, you say, looking at the tub of vulnerable white curds. An hour. It seems like a very long time to just sit and watch something. Good boy. He gives your shoulder a firm, reassuring squeeze. then turns and heads back up the stairs, his clogs echoing until the heavy door thuds shut, plunging you back into the lantern-lit solitude. And so you wait. The first few minutes, you are the perfect, diligent son. You stare at the cloth-covered tub. You listen to the profound silence of the cave. A silence so deep you can hear the faint, almost imperceptible hiss of the oil burning in your lantern. You can feel the coolness of the air on your cheeks, but your mind, that restless, wandering thing, cannot be still for long. Your gaze drifts from the tub to the rough stone walls of the cave. Archaeologists and historians debate the exact composition of the mortar used in these old Dutch cellars, whether it was a simple lime mixture or if farmers added secret ingredients like buttermilk or even cheese whey to strengthen it, making the walls part of the very environment that aged the cheese. You trace a line between two great stones with your finger, feeling the gritty, ancient texture, and then your fingers, dusty with mortar, find the small nub of charcoal you always keep in your pocket. An idea sparks in your active imagination. Tucked behind a stack of unused cheese molds is a smooth, flat piece of pine board, left over from when your father built a new shelf. It's perfect. You forget the ledger, you forget the counting, you sit on the floor, your back against the cool stone wall, the board propped on your knees, and you begin to draw. The image that wants to come out is a windmill. There is one you can see from your attic window. The De Grote Poldermolen, the great polder mill. It stands tall and proud against the flat horizon, its enormous sails turning slowly in the endless Dutch wind. It's more than just a mill for grinding grain. It's a machine that pumps water, a guardian that keeps the low-lying polder land from flooding. These windmills are the engines of the Dutch landscape. Powerful, and yet, to you, deeply graceful. This single invention, more than any army, allowed your people to claim land from the sea, creating the very fields your cows now graze upon. It is a symbol of Dutch ingenuity and strength. Your charcoal whispers across the surface of the wood. You don't just draw the outline, you lose yourself in the details. You sketch the heavy timber frame, the intricate lattice of the four great sails, trying to capture the way the canvas would be reefed upon them. You imagine the immense wooden gears inside, the groan of the axle, the shudder of the whole structure, as a strong gust of wind catches the sails. You draw the small windows of the miller's home within the mill's base, imagining the miller's family living their lives to the constant, rhythmic turning of the blades above their heads. The world outside the cave vanishes. There is only you, the charcoal, the wood, and the windmill taking shape under your hand. You are no longer Lars, the cheesemaker's son, sitting in a damp cellar. You are an architect, an engineer, a master draftsman, capturing the soul of this great machine. The flame in your lantern flickers, casting your hunched shadow, large and distorted on the wall behind you. Time ceases to be a thing measured by clocks or the sun. It becomes a fluid, unnoticeable river, and you are floating contentedly upon it. You add shading to the brickwork. At the base of the mill, trying to make each brick look old and weathered, you draw the small wooden jetty beside it where barges would moor to collect the milled flour. You are so lost in your creation that you don't hear the distant church bell chime the midday hour. You don't notice the lantern flame beginning to sputter as its oil runs low. The only thing that exists is the satisfying, soft scratch of charcoal on wood. A sound, distant at first, finally pierces your bubble of concentration. Lars, Lars, the midday meal is ready. It is your mother's voice, faint and far away, calling from the house. You blink, as if waking from a deep sleep. You look down at your drawing, then around the dark cave. A wave of cold dread washes over you, far colder than the cellar air, the teat, the curds. How long has it been? It couldn't have been just an hour. It feels like you have lived a whole lifetime in this cave, building a windmill from memory and dust. The lantern is dimming, the flame struggling for life. Panic seizes you. Your father. The experiment. You were supposed to bring the tub up. You scramble to your feet. Your first instinct is to hide the evidence of your distraction. You slide the wooden board with your precious windmill, drawing back into its hiding spot behind the molds. You grab the ledger, your mind racing. What will you say? Lars, her voice is closer now from the top of the stairs. Coming, mother, you call back, your voice tight and unnatural. You look at the little wooden tub, still sitting on the stool, its cloth covering undisturbed. You should grab it. You should run up the stairs and confess you forgot. But you can already picture the look on your father's face. Not anger, not true anger, but that deep, weary disappointment that feels so much worse. The look that says, I gave you a single hour, and your head was in the clouds again. In a moment of pure childish fear, you make a decision. You do nothing. You leave the tub where it is, nestled in the cool shadows of the deepest part of the cave. You convince yourself of a desperate, flimsy lie. You will tell them you felt ill. You will say you came up to lie down. You will sneak back down after the meal and retrieve it. Surely another hour or two won't make a difference. It's just milk and rennet after all. You snatch up the lantern and hurry up the stone steps, leaving the small, forgotten tub of curds behind in the silent, watchful dark. You step out into the bright daylight, blinking against the sudden glare, your heart hammering against your ribs. You left a secret behind in the cave, a small act of forgotten duty that is now resting, all alone in the cool, damp earth. You slide onto the bench at the midday table, your mind a whirlwind of quiet panic. The comforting aroma of your mother's leek and potato soup, usually your favorite, does little to soothe the knot in your stomach. Annalise places a bowl in front of you, along with a thick slice of the same dark rye bread that your father favors. It's a dense, hearty bread, strong enough to sustain a man through an afternoon of hard work. You look at it and a strange thought surfaces. An old wives' tale you once overheard, that bread and dairy should never be stored too closely. Folklorists debate whether these beliefs were genuine superstitions or early, intuitive forms of food safety, a primitive understanding that the wild yeasts in bread could somehow affect the delicate balance of milk. Right now, it just feels like another bad omen. Your mother, Annalise, pauses as she cuts a piece of cheese, her movements fluid and practiced. She notices your silence, the way you stare into your soup without lifting your spoon. "Are you feeling all right, Lars?" she asks, her voice soft with concern. "You are pale." "I'm fine, Mother," you mumble, forcing yourself to pick up your spoon. The soup is warm and savory, but it tastes like ash in your mouth. You risk a glance at your father. He is eating with his usual focused intent, his mind clearly still on his work, planning the next steps in the cheese-making process. He believes you are a reliable part of that process. The thought makes your stomach clench even tighter. You hope with a desperate, childish hope that in the business of the afternoon, he might simply forget about his small experiment, that the little tub of curds will just fade from his memory. But your father is not a man who forgets his success as a cheesemaker is built on precision and memory. The midday meal is a pause, a moment to refuel, not a break in his concentration. As he wipes his mouth with a linen napkin, he turns his gaze to you. The moment you have been dreading has arrived. "All right, Lars," he says, his voice practical and ready. "The hour is long, but go down and fetch the tub of curds. The texture should be perfect by now. We must get it into the press immediately." Time seems to slow down. The ticking of the tall case clock in the corner of the room sounds like a judge's gavel, each tick a count against you. You can't meet his eyes. You stare at a knot in the wooden table, tracing its swirling pattern with your gaze. Father, you begin, your voice barely a whisper. I didn't bring it up. Dirk's brow furrows. What do you mean you didn't bring it up? I felt a bit dizzy down in the cave. You lie, the words feeling clumsy and false on your tongue. The air, it was so cold, I came up to sit for a moment and I forgot to go back down. Your mother looks at you with renewed concern, but your father's expression is different. It is not sympathy, it is the dawn of frustration. He sighs, a long, weary sound that speaks of a patience worn thin. Lars, the timing is crucial. You know this. A dizzy spell? He shakes his head, not in disbelief, but in exasperation. Never mind, it has been sitting for hours now. The experiment is likely ruined, but we can't leave it there. He pushes his bench back, the legs scraping against the floorboards. I will get it myself. The whole rhythm of the afternoon is thrown off now. He walks towards the back door that leads to the cave entrance, and a fresh wave of panic grips you. You didn't just leave the tub on the stool. In your haste, you'd pushed it aside into a darker corner to make it less obvious. You have to go with him. I'll get it, Father, you say quickly, jumping to your feet. No, he says, his voice firm, final. I will. I need to see the state it is in. You follow him out the door like a lamb being led to slaughter. The bright afternoon sun feels like an accusation. He pulls open the heavy wooden door to the cave, and you trail behind him down the cool, familiar steps. The lantern he grabbed casting long, dancing shadows before you. It should be on the stool, he mutters, more to himself than to you. He reaches the bottom of the stairs and holds the lantern high. The stool is empty. His frown deepens. Lars, where did you put it? Your throat is dry. I think I pushed it aside. You stammer, pointing towards a dark recess at the back of the cave, a space mostly used for storing old tools and empty sacks. Over there. Dirk strides over to the corner, his expression grim, and then he sees it, the small wooden tub, sitting forlornly in the shadows. But something else is there, too. Lying on a dusty sack, right next to the tub, is the source of that rye-bread superstition, the thing that makes your heart sink completely. A half-eaten loaf of your father's favorite bread, forgotten from a snack you had down here 2 days ago. Its dark crust is crumbly, its inside exposed to the damp cellar air. Your father says nothing at first. He simply stares at the scene. The forgotten curds next to the forgotten bread. It is a portrait of your carelessness. He reaches down and picks up the tub, placing it on the floor in the center of the cave. In the full glow of the lantern, Then he slowly, deliberately lifts the damp cloth from the top. You hold your breath. It does not look like curdled milk anymore. The mass has shrunken slightly, and it has wept more of its way, creating a small puddle at the bottom of the tub. The color is no longer a pure, clean white. It is tinged with a grayish, unhealthy-looking hue, and scattered across the surface like tiny, sinister jewels are unmistakable specks of blue-green. It looks spoiled, diseased, a failure. Dirk lets the cloth fall from his fingers. He straightens up, and for a long moment he is utterly still. The silence in the cave is absolute, broken only by the faint sputter of the lantern. When he finally turns to you, his face is a mask of profound disappointment. "Do you see this?" he asks, his voice dangerously quiet. The quiet is so much worse than shouting. This is waste. This is what happens when your head is in the clouds and not on your work. He gestures at the tub. This milk came from Berta, our best cow. It was rich, perfect milk. It could have become a beautiful cheese. A cheese that would feed us, a cheese that would uphold our name at the market. Every cheesemaker in our guild takes an oath to respect the craft, to uphold the quality. What you see here, this is an insult to that oath. His words are not hot with anger, but cold with the weight of his disillusionment. Each one lands like a heavy stone in the pit of your stomach. I give you one simple task, and you cannot even manage that. You are daydreaming about your foolish drawings while good food turns to rot. He points a finger at you, his eyes finally showing a spark of fire. You are my son, this craft, this life. It is your inheritance, and you treat it like a game. He shakes his head, a gesture of finality. It's ruined completely. The color, the smell, it's rot. Take it. Take it out to the pigsty and throw it in the trough. At least the pigs can get some good from your carelessness. I don't want to see it again. He turns without another word, his shoulders slumped with the weight of his disappointment, and ascends the stone steps. The heavy door thuds shut above, sealing you in the darkness once more, alone with the lantern and the evidence of your failure. You stare at the small tub. Rot. That's what your father saw. That's what any sane cheesemaker would see. It is spoiled milk, a mistake to be discarded. Your cheeks burn with shame. He was right. You had been careless. You had been lost in your own little world, and this was the result. You should obey him. You should pick up the tub, carry it up the stairs, and walk the path of shame to the pigsty. You should scrape the strange, blue-flecked curd into the trough and try to forget the whole sorry affair. But you don't move. Instead, you crouch down, bringing the lantern closer to the tub. In the warm, flickering light, the blue-green specks don't look entirely like rot. There's a pattern to them, a kind of delicate, almost floral bloom. It's not the slimy black mold you've seen on spoiled vegetables. This is different. And the smell, it's not just sour. Beneath the tang of spoiled milk, there is something else. Something sharp, pungent, and interesting. It's a smell you have never encountered before, and it sparks not disgust, but a deep, powerful curiosity. Your father's words echo in your ears. Throw it out. But another quieter voice whispers back from the deepest part of your daydreaming soul. Wait. What is this? You look from the blue-flecked curds to the forgotten rye bread lying nearby. A connection forms in your mind, a wild, improbable idea. Could the bread have done something to the cheese? In that moment, standing in the cool, silent cave, surrounded by the smell of earth and failure, a new feeling begins to replace the shame. It is a spark of defiance, a flicker of secret rebellion. Your father saw rot. You see a mystery. Your father's footsteps fade, and the heavy thud of the door seals you in a world of your own making. You are left in the cool, profound silence, with nothing but the gentle hiss of the lantern and the scent of damp earth and your spectacular failure. The order was clear. Throw it to the pigs. End of story. It is the sensible thing to do, the obedient thing to do. It is the path back to your father's good graces. But your eyes are fixed on the strange blue-flecked curds. The shame still stings your cheeks, but beneath it, a different feeling is taking root. It's the same feeling you get when you look at a map of an uncharted land, or when you read the first line of a new story. It is the magnetic pull of the unknown. Your father, a man of process and certainty, saw rot. But you, a boy of dreams and questions, see a riddle. You make a choice. It is a quiet, momentous decision made in the heart of the earth, witnessed by no one but the silent, sleeping wheels of cheese on their shelves. You will not throw it away. You will hide it. This will be your secret, your experiment. In the 17th century, the air is thick with talk of alchemy, the quest to turn lead into gold, to find the elixir of life. Men of science and philosophy are obsessed with transformation. What you are about to do feels like your own humble, rustic form of alchemy. You will take this spoiled substance, this leaden failure, and see if time and darkness can transmute it into something else entirely. First, you need a hiding place, a place of deep forgetting. Your father is a man of routine. He checks the main shelves. He sweeps the central floor. He uses the main stool. His eyes follow paths worn by a year of repetition. You need to find a place. His eyes never go. You pick up the lantern and begin to explore the forgotten corners of the cave. You run your hands along the cold stone walls, feeling for imperfections. Behind a stack of old, warped barrels, in the far back, your fingers find it, a loose stone. It's not large, but when you pry it out with some effort, it reveals a small, dark cavity within the wall itself. It's just big enough. There is an old belief, a piece of cellar lore, that every cave has a lucky corner, a spot where the air is different, where things keep better and longer. It's a place that mischievous spirits, the kabouters, are said to respect. This hidden hollow behind the stone feels like such a place. It feels secret, sacred, and safe. Now, for the cheese itself, you cannot hide the whole tub. You look at the crumbly, moist mass. An idea, bold and imitative, takes shape. You will not just hide it, you will help it. You will treat it like a real cheese. You wash your hands meticulously in a bucket of clean, cold water. You keep in the cave for chores. Then you reach into the tub. The curd is cool and surprisingly firm, though still crumbly. You scoop it out with both hands and place it on a clean, flat stone. Gently, carefully, you begin to press it together. You mimic the motions you have seen your father make 1,000 times, cupping the curd, pressing out the excess moisture, forming it into a rough, lumpy wheel. It doesn't look like his perfect creations. It's misshapen, uneven, and its surface is marbled with those strange, beautiful blue-green veins. It is uniquely yours. Your eyes fall upon the forgotten loaf of rye bread, still lying on the sackcloth, the cause of the crime. You pick it up. The sharp, slightly sour smell of the rye is strong. An intuition, pure and unscientific, guides your next move. If the bread caused this strange bloom, perhaps the cheese needs the bread to continue its journey. Historians and mycologists still debate the specific wild mold strains prevalent in Dutch bakeries of the period, but you know nothing of that. You only know that these two things, the cheese and the bread, seem linked by fate. You break off a small dry crumb from the loaf, holding it between your thumb and forefinger. You gently rub it into the top of your lumpy wheel, like adding a final, magical ingredient to a potion. With a feeling of reverence, you lift your strange creation. It feels cool, heavy, and alive with possibility. You carefully place it inside the dark hollow of the wall. You wrap it loosely in the same damp cloth that had covered the tub, hoping to keep it from drying out too much. Then you fit the loose stone back into place. It slides in perfectly, looking just like any other stone in the wall. The secret is sealed. Your alchemical experiment has begun. Hidden in the belly of the earth, the final step is to erase the evidence. You take the wooden tub, now empty save for a few stray bluish crumbs. You carry it up the stairs and into the daylight. Your heart hammers as you walk past the making room, terrified your father will emerge and see you. But the building is quiet. You go to the water pump in the yard and scrub the tub with a fury. You scrub it until every last dry trace of the failed experiment is gone, until it smells only of clean water and wood. You leave it upside down to dry in the sun, a picture of dutiful cleanliness. You walk back into the house. Your mother is sitting at the table, mending one of your shirts, her needle moving in a steady, rhythmic motion. She looks up and gives you a small, reassuring smile, as if to say that your father's anger will pass. You feel a pang of guilt. Her smile is for the boy she thinks was merely forgetful, not for the boy who has just hidden a forbidden cheese in a secret hole in the wall. The rest of the day passes in a blur of feigned normalcy. You perform your afternoon chores with a new, meticulous focus, hoping your diligence will act as a balm on your father's disappointment. You help feed the cows, you muck out the stalls, you carry firewood to the house. With every task, you feel the weight of your secret. It's a heavy thing, but it's also warm, a glowing coal of excitement in your chest. Days turn into a week. Your father's mood softens from disappointment back to his usual gruff affection. The failed experiment is not mentioned again. It is a closed chapter. For him, for you, it is a story that is just beginning. Every time you're sent to the cave, your heart gives a little flutter while you methodically turn the heavy wheels of Gouda on their shelves. Your eyes dart to the back corner, to the unremarkable stone in the wall. What is happening in there? Is it rotting away as your father predicted? Is it dissolving into a foul-smelling sludge? Or is the alchemy working? Is it transforming? Is the blue-green bloom spreading, deepening, becoming something more? You resist the overwhelming temptation to look. It's too soon. An experiment needs time, patience. That is the one lesson from your father that you have truly taken to heart. So you wait. You go about your days, a quiet, dreamy boy. But now your dreams have a focus. They are all centered on a dark, cool hollow in the earth and the secret it holds. Weeks pass. Summer begins to ripen, the days growing long and golden. The memory of your father's anger has faded, replaced by the enduring, anxious hum of your secret. The hidden cheese is a constant presence in the back of your mind, a question mark waiting patiently in the dark. You don't know what you have created. It could be a disaster, it could be a marvel, it could be nothing at all, but it is yours. The seasons have turned. The long, golden days of summer have shortened, giving way to the crisp, cool air of autumn. The canals now reflect a sky of deeper blue, and the leaves on the few trees that line the village paths are turning to rust and gold. Months have passed since you committed your secret to the earth. The memory of it has not vanished, but it has softened, buried under the rhythms of daily life. The hay harvest, the endless scrubbing of cheese vats, the turning of the summer wheels, the secret cheese has become another one of your daydreams, a half-forgotten story you told yourself once in the dark. Life on the farm shifts with the seasons. The autumn harvest is in full swing, a time of gathering and preserving for the long, cold winter ahead. This is a fundamental rhythm of 17th century life, a cycle of storing the sun's energy to survive the months of darkness today. Your mother has given you a new task. Lars, she said, handing you a basket, the apples are ready. Go down to the cellar and clear the old barrels from the back corner. It's the best spot to keep the fruit from freezing. Your heart gives a familiar, quiet flutter. Any task in the cave feels like a visit to a sleeping dragon's lair. You take a lantern and make your way down the stone steps. The air is colder than you remember, carrying the sharp, clean scent of the coming winter. You set about your work, your clogs scraping on the stone floor. The barrels are heavy and awkward. They've been sitting in the corner for years, gathering dust and cobwebs. As you wrestle the last, most warped barrel out of the way, its edge catches on the stone wall behind it. Thump, scrape. You hear a distinct sound, not of wood against stone, but of stone against stone. You pause, holding the barrel, and look at the wall, the loose stone, your secret hiding place. In the months of ignoring it, you had forgotten its exact location. Seeing it again sends a jolt through you, a current of fear and excitement so strong it makes you feel dizzy. The barrel has knocked it slightly askew, revealing a sliver of the dark hollow behind it. For a moment, you just stand there, your breath held tight in your chest. The dragon is stirring. After all this time, the moment has come. Your hands tremble slightly as you put down the barrel. You kneel before the wall, your lantern placed on the floor beside you, its light casting a warm, expectant glow. You reach out and pry the stone from its resting place. It comes away easily, revealing the dark cavity within. A smell wafts out. It is not the foul, putrid stench of rot you had secretly feared for months. It is something else entirely, something powerful, pungent, and utterly strange. It's a smell that fills the small space, sharp and peppery, with an earthy, mushroom-like undertone. It's so strong it almost makes your eyes water. There's an old saying among the village elders that the most pungent cheeses are the best for warding off winter chills. A folk remedy in edible form. This cheese, you think, could ward off the plague itself. With a thumping heart, you reach into the darkness. Your fingers don't meet a slimy, decayed mess. They touch something solid, something firm and cool and rind-like. It's heavier than you expect. You grip it carefully and draw your creation out into the light. You stare, utterly mesmerized. The lumpy, pale, and pathetic-looking ball of curd you hid months ago is gone. In its place is a small, rustic wheel of cheese. It is no longer white. The rind is a mottled, grayish brown, like the bark of an old tree, and it's covered in a fine, powdery bloom. It looks ancient, and through the rustic rind you can see them. The veins, they are no longer faint specks. They are a magnificent, intricate network of deep, dramatic, chromatic blue-green branching through the interior like lightning captured in milk. You lift it closer to your face, examining it in the flickering lantern light. It is a thing of bizarre beauty. It looks nothing like your father's clean, golden, predictable wheels of Gouda. They're like tamed farm fields, neat and orderly. This is like a piece of the wild forest floor, a thing of chaos and nature. Food historians debate how much the concept of terroir, the idea that a food's taste is shaped by its specific environment, was formally understood in this period. But looking at this wheel, with a certainty that goes deeper than knowledge, that this cheese could not have come from anywhere else. It is a child of this specific cave, this damp air, this particular strain of mold from that forgotten piece of rye bread. It is the taste of your secret. You turn it over in your hands. It's dense and solid. You tap it with your knuckle, the way you've seen your father do. It doesn't make the clear, solid sound of a Gouda. It makes a duller, softer thud, hinting at a different texture within. You think of another piece of cheese lore, that every good cheese has a song when you tap it, a sound that tells the cheesemaker if it is ready. The song of this cheese is a low, mysterious hum. Shame and fear have been replaced by a profound sense of wonder and something else, pride. Your father had called it rot. He had ordered it destroyed. But you had listened to a different voice, a whisper of curiosity, and you had waited. The slow, patient magic of the cave, the alchemy of time and mold, had worked a transformation you couldn't have possibly imagined. You haven't just saved a mistake, you have created something entirely new. A new fear surfaces, sharper and more immediate than the last. What if someone finds it? You cannot leave it here. Your mother will be down soon with the apple baskets. You must hide it again, but somewhere better, somewhere only you can find it. You carefully wrap the strange, pungent wheel in a clean piece of sackcloth you find nearby. You glance around the cave at the neat rows of sleeping Gouda. They seem boring to you now, predictable and safe. Your cheese is a wild thing, an adventurer. With the secret bundle tucked securely under your arm, you replace the loose stone in the wall, making sure it looks undisturbed. You wrestle the old barrels back into place, completing your chore. Then, with your heart beating a rhythm of discovery against your ribs, you carry your treasure up the stone steps, leaving the quiet, earthy darkness of the cave behind. You smuggle it past the kitchen, up the steep stairs to your attic room, and hide it in the depths of an old wooden chest that holds your winter clothes. You close the lid, and the pungent, peppery smell is contained, but you can still feel its presence in the room, a silent, powerful question. You have brought your secret out of the earth and into the light. You know what it looks like, what it smells like. But the final, most terrifying and thrilling part of the experiment remains the great unknown. What in the world does it taste like? The wooden chest in your attic room has become a Pandora's box of smells. Every time you open it to get a shirt, the pungent, peppery, earthy aroma of your secret cheese escapes, a powerful reminder of the discovery you've made. For 2 days, you have lived with this knowledge. A solitary king ruling over a kingdom of one strange, veiny cheese wheel. But the final frontier remains uncharted. The question that has been buzzing in your mind like a trapped bee finally becomes unbearable. What does it taste like? Tonight is the night. The house below is quiet. Your parents are asleep. The fire in the hearth has been banked for the night, and the only sound is the gentle sigh of the wind outside. By the light of a single flickering candle, you lift the lid of the chest. You retrieve the cheese, which you have kept carefully wrapped in its sackcloth. Unveiling it feels like a ceremony. In the soft candlelight, the blue-green veins look even deeper and more mysterious, like rivers of ink flowing through a creamy landscape. You take your small whittling knife, its blade clean and sharp. Your hand hovers over the wheel, hesitating. This is the moment of truth. Every instinct, every lesson your father has ever taught you screams that this is wrong. You are about to eat something that was declared spoiled, something that was destined for the pigs. It takes all of your courage to press the tip of the knife into the rustic rind. It cuts more easily than you expected. The rind is firm, but the inside is surprisingly soft, creamy. You carve out a small, crumbly wedge. The smell intensifies, filling your small room. You look at the piece of cheese on the flat of your knife. It seems to challenge you. You close your eyes, take a deep breath, and place it in your mouth. For a single shocking second, your entire world is fire and spice. The taste is explosive. It's a sharp, peppery, almost aggressive pungency that floods your senses, making your tongue tingle. This is the taste of the mold, wild and untamed. It is so potent, so utterly alien, that your first instinct is to spit it out, but you don't. You hold on. And then something magical happens. Just behind that initial spicy blast, a second wave of flavor rises up. It is an incredible, profound creaminess, a rich, buttery, almost nutty taste that soothes the fire and coats your entire mouth in a blanket of savory delight. The two flavors, the sharp and the creamy, don't fight each other. They dance. They weave together into a single complex taste that is more than the sum of its parts. It's salty, sweet, sharp, and creamy all at once. There is a folk belief that a powerful new taste can awaken the spirit, and you feel it now, a jolt of pure, delicious revelation. You swallow. The taste lingers, long and complex, changing on your palate. It is the most incredible thing you have ever eaten. It is a thunderclap and a soft blanket. It is a wild forest and a warm hearth. It is, you realize with a certainty that shakes you to your core, a masterpiece. And you know, in that same instant that you cannot keep it for yourself, this is too big. This changes everything. Your fear of your father's anger is suddenly dwarfed by the magnitude of what you hold in your hand. With the half-eaten wedge, still on your knife, and the main wheel tucked under your arm, you leave your room. You creep down the steep attic stairs, your bare feet silent on the wood. You find your father and mother in their small sleeping alcove, and you wake them gently, the confusion on their faces in the dim light, the questions, your quiet insistence that they must come to the main room, that you have something vital to show them. You place the cheese on the great wooden table. Your father, Dirk, stares at it, his face a storm cloud of confusion and dawning anger. "What is this?" he demands, his voice a low rumble. "This is the rot from the cave. I told you to throw this away. You disobeyed me. Just taste it, Dirk," your mother says softly, her curiosity piqued by the gravity of the situation. She looks from your earnest face to the strange-looking cheese. "It's spoiled, Annalise," he insists. "Please, Father," you say, your voice trembling but firm. "Just one taste, that is all I ask." Reluctantly, pushed by your mother's gentle persuasion and your own desperate plea, he gives in with a look of grim disgust. He takes the knife from you, cuts the tiniest possible sliver from the wedge, and places it in his mouth, as if expecting to be poisoned. You watch his face. It is a study in transformation. First, his eyes widen in shock at the sharp, pungent bite. He recoils slightly. His anger seems ready to boil over. But then he freezes. His jaw stops chewing. His expression shifts from anger to disbelief. The profound, unexpected creaminess has arrived. He is no longer tasting rot. He is tasting the dance. He is tasting your discovery. He stands there utterly motionless for what feels like an eternity. He swallows, and then he looks at you, his eyes wide with a question he cannot yet form into words. He cuts another larger piece and eats it slowly, deliberately, his entire being focused on the sensations. He begins, then stops. He looks at the cheese, then back at you. A slow, dawning wonder replacing the anger in his eyes. It's not spoiled. Ha turns and walks to the cupboard, retrieving a bottle of sweet apple cider, a special treat usually reserved for holidays. Culinary historians debate the origin of pairing. Sweet wines with pungent cheeses, but for your father, the instinct is primal. He knows, with the deep wisdom of his craft, that the cheese needs a partner. He pours a small amount, takes a sip, then takes another bite of the cheese. A slow smile spreads across his face. It is a smile of pure, unadulterated astonishment. "Lars," he says, and his voice is filled with a respect you have never heard before. "What have you done?" That night, nobody sleeps. The three of you sit around the table, tasting the cheese, talking in hushed, excited whispers. Your father's anger has completely dissolved, replaced by a feverish, scientific curiosity. He asks you every detail. How long you left it, the exact corner of the cave, the forgotten rye bread. He no longer sees a disobedient dreamer. He sees a fellow inventor, an accidental genius. The story of the cheese and of your fame does not explode. It unfolds gently like the turning of the seasons. It begins as a family treasure brought out for special occasions. During the long winter, a wheel is then given as a St. Nicholas Day gift to your aunt and uncle, who are stunned by its unique flavor. Your father, after dozens of failed attempts, finally manages to replicate the mistake on purpose, learning that the wild mold from the rye bread and the specific cool, damp environment of that one corner of the cave are the secret ingredients. The following spring, he takes a small, tentative wheel to the market in Amsterdam. It sells out in an hour. Your life is changed, not in a great, sudden upheaval, but in a quiet, meaningful shift. Your father now looks at your daydreaming, not as a fault, but as a gift. He sees that your curiosity, your tendency to look at the world differently, is just as valuable as his precision and his mastery of routine. The two of you become partners, a team of tradition and innovation. The family legacy is no longer just about making perfect golden wheels of Gouda. It is now also about the strange, wild, and wonderful blue cheese, a cheese born from a mistake, a forgotten loaf of bread, and a boy who was brave enough to listen to a whisper of curiosity in the dark. And so our story comes to a gentle close, not with a grand finale, but with the quiet satisfaction of a new beginning, a legacy accidentally discovered and lovingly embraced. The lights of the small wooden house in the Dutch village seem to burn a little brighter now, a warm beacon against the night, smelling faintly of wood smoke, of family, and of a wonderful, pungent, and miraculous new cheese. The boy who once gazed at the clouds, dreaming of ships and faraway lands, has found his own world of discovery right there at home, deep in the cool, damp earth beneath his feet. As the candle in the attic room flickers and fades, you can almost feel the deep, contented peace settling over the farm. The story is told, the journey is over, and all that is left is the gentle, quiet dark, the image of the blue-veined cheese. A map of accidental wonders begins to soften at the edges, its sharp, pungent aroma mellowing into a distant pleasant memory. The sounds of the Dutch village, the lapping water in the canals, the distant creak of a windmill turning slowly in the night all fade into a soft, encompassing silence. There is only the feeling of warmth from your blankets, the steady, easy rhythm of your own breathing, and the comfortable weight of your body, sinking deeper and deeper into a state of profound rest. Let the last threads of the story unravel now, leaving behind only a feeling of calm and well-being, a gentle reassurance that even small mistakes can sometimes bloom into the most beautiful and unexpected gifts. Just let your mind drift on that peaceful thought, floating on a quiet canal under a sky full of soft, sleeping stars, easing gently, so gently, into a deep and restorative sleep.